There are very few instances in the video game industry where we can see and analyze a map transition from design idea to press demo to playable level. With Half-Life 2, however, we have several examples. These instances can provide amazing opportunities to learn important lessons on game design, while also balancing a vision for a scene or environment. One of these examples, though, has flown under the radar in comparison to most. While the idea for the Uprising generally is quite old, our journey begins with this E3 demo in 2002, which showcases the Striders patrolling the ruins of City 17. One of these Striders fires upon a sky bridge before ducking under it to chase the player. Many months after this, in early 2003, Half-Life 2 had begun to transition away from that demo stylings and more into the overall visual style, pacing, and level design of the retail title. This vast urban design map was one of the ways Valve was starting to reconceptualize the Uprising chapters. But there were others, as seen in the map file list there. One of these other maps we will return to later. Even through all of this work, the idea of the Strider attacking the skybridge and going under would remain, and would lead Valve to the E3 in the summer of 2003. For those of you who may never have seen it, the following demo was created by Valve to highlight the work they had done on the Strider and their new approach to the Uprising section of the game. If you're curious as to what the distant areas of the demo look like, here they are. Much of it is skybox geometry and isn't playable. By September 2003, this demo was modified and renamed D3C1713. You're to begin this map after working your way down from the cut rooftop map D3C1712, rather than starting on an elevator attached to an office building. To begin, you'd walk over this rubble. As this map wasn't finished at the time, the striders don't exactly work as intended, while following the planned path through the map. Instead, you must touch this trigger in the corner of this destroyed building for it to activate. Here's what happens when you do just that. In comparison to the demo, the Citadel is now in front of the player, rather than behind. Although the tracks still exist, the tram doesn't. There's also going to be even more street combat after this too, including a D3C1714 and several others. The fleeing rebels from the 2003 demo have been moved here. From this point, and all the way to release, C1713 was edited heavily, along with the maps surrounding it. C1712 was completely inverted, now being underground, meaning the player now comes up and out of that level, also in a completely new location. There are also huge new play spaces that don't look anything like the previous two maps. On top of this, this is also the final of the Street Wars maps for the game, as you go into the Citadel right after this. This editing would eventually lead to the movement of some of the oldest ideas for the map. Despite being something going all the way back to E3 2002, the scripted moment of the Strider ducking under the bridge was eventually removed, with the closest sequence to it being in C1712B, where a Strider chases the player through a tunnel. The skybridge itself, though, was saved outright, and can be seen in the much earlier D3C1707. Now, you might be wondering then if there is anything remaining from the previous maps, if there are all these differences. There is, though it is only visited briefly. It is this area right around the horse statue, where Dog and Barney fight the Combine soldiers. In fact, the dead-end road they come from is the same road you were to enter in the original version of C-1713, and where the first strider was to come from, both in that and the demo. All that is missing is the sky bridge. The retail version even has a bit of that rubble still remaining. The UMF building seen in the previous versions also returns in retail. The destroyed building the second strider was to come out of is still there, albeit slightly repaired, with the new Combine wall cutting right through it. The Citadel is in the same position as the earlier version of the map, sitting close behind that giant wall, like in the demo, in some ways merging the ideas of both together. The tram tracks and the stop shelter are also still present, as well as the destroyed building that used to connect to the sky bridge. The office building that you ride the elevator down is actually still there too. It's right where you come down from the rubble. The large destroyed building and the new road take the place of the Hotel Metropole block of buildings and the road it sat beside. The geometry for Hotel Metropole was moved to the corner that Dog and Barney come from. One reason this new area took the place of the Metropole was to include a circling patrol idea for the Strider. You can see the Strider circle the play space during this entire section of the map. This Strider patrol idea dates back to early 2003 also, with this test map being created to plan the scripting required for it. Originally, this behavior was to appear in C-1714, but with that map also being cut, it was seemingly moved here. In the skybox for the retail map is this angled road. It's used to give the illusion of ground for the Strider's path. While in the demo, the Combine wall was here obscuring any roadway, it may have originated in the rooftop version of C-1712. In that, you can see an angled road in the distance, likely hinting at C-1713. The older version of C-1713 has an open skybox, suggesting it may have also been seen here too. Finally, some incomplete changes appear to have taken place between the original C-1713 and the final one. The UMF building was hollowed out. A bit of the concrete tiling from the original flooring remains, despite being chopped up and new floors being added. The office building you were formerly to come from had an extension added onto it. This extension may have been considered due to those changes in the skybox. There's also an unused floor brush underneath, indicating some sort of basement. To tie everything together, here are all three maps seen from above. As you can see, there are only slight differences between the demo and the first version of the map. That play space still exists on the bottom of the retail map, but is much more truncated in order to facilitate the new gameplay and narrative changes.